Please understand me, brothers in Christ. I am not accusing you of being complicit in Charlie Kirk's nation. I am accusing you of running to the table before the blood dried on Charlie's microphone and grabbing your 30 pieces of silver. Show Faith by Works, LLC, out of San Diego, California, is a lobbyist for the country that shall not be named, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Oh, how interesting. This outfit is run by Chad Schnitger. He runs Show Faith by Works. So it looks like this took place just 17 days after the of Charlie Kirk. Actually, it took place August 5th of 2025, over a month before Charlie was. That's when they put Show Faith Works together to do this multi-million-dollar contract. And it is a multi-million-dollar contract, about $10 million, spread out between 4 lobbyists. My former coworker Brad Parscale grabbing the lion's share at $6 million to target Gen Z, $600,000 to SKDK, who you'll remember, they're the group that got the election money in 2020. They got the $35 million head start. Anita Dunn was running them then, and Anita Dunn went into the White House.
The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40, $50 million off the Democratic Party.
Actually come from 2 of my favorite political philosophers, Mao Zedong and Mother Teresa.
I do love how a nun who took a vow of poverty and the greatest communist leader ever led Anita Dunn to $50 million. And SKDK was unbelievable in rigging the 2020 election. After the 2020 election, Mark Zuckerberg did some podcasts where he talked about government people calling them and cursing them out and demanding they censor stuff.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse.
A lot of that was the work of SKDK, screaming at Facebook executives to censor stuff. SKDK dropped this contract as of right now. It appears they got embarrassed somehow. However, SKDK continues spying on Americans and turning them over to Israeli intelligence agencies whenever they deem these Americans to be too anti-Israel. So while they abandoned this Have Us Media Network project, which Show Faith by Works was involved in, they still continue with the 10-7 project, which is their spying on American journalists for Israel and turning them over to the Israeli intelligence agencies. Pretty unbelievable. This is who our Christian leaders are running with. Let's take a look at our boy Chad Schnitger at Show Faith Works. Chad's getting a few $million. He's going to target Gen Z students, and he has to geofence and give targeted Israel propaganda ads and, spy on people. Chad Schnitger is with the Faith and Freedom Coalition in California, and they really love Pastor Rob McCoy. Here's a post from the Faith and Freedom Coalition of California, the group run by Chad Schnitger. Pastor Rob McCoy knocks it out of the park at Charlie Kirk's funeral. Down below, fun fact, Pastor Rob was the very first pastors we spoke to about the goal of organizing churches throughout California. That's their grammar, not mine. And look at that. Pastor Rob McCoy is organizing the churches for the Faith and Freedom Coalition, at this time run by Chad Schnitger, who will later run Show Faith Works. So we kind of know what he does with that information. So we can see all the money poured into this project from the Israel lobby. TPUSA has a lot of money to earn. When Charlie decided to walk from the Israel lobby because the donors were bullying him and pressuring him, all this money was on the line. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's quite a bit. See, even though if some of this money like on this sheet doesn't go directly to TPUSA, there's always this exchange between 501c3s and shell companies and NGOs and nonprofits. There's always this exchange and flow of money. It's really legal money laundering. And so with Charlie Kirk saying he's not going to get down with that lobby, not only does a lot of this money dry up and other external monies, but Rob McCoy's income dries up. See, homeboy likes his trips to Israel, and he makes money off this. He gives trips to Israel. I'm sure it's going to be, it's a non-profit. Okay. Send your cease and desist letters, and let's get to court. Let's go. But there's a lot of things like this in the orbit of TPUSA and that money flow. Really, a lot of this isn't TPUSA. It's TPUSA Faith, specifically. And in the last year of Charlie's life, especially the last months, the pressure these people put on Charlie was tremendous. They were just hungry for their money, killing Charlie over allowing Tucker to speak, still being friends with Candace, even starting to let Megyn Kelly get a little out of line. They didn't like any of this stuff. And they believed Charlie could corral everyone because they knew he was kind of a maestro. He would convince people to say things, do things, tell Tucker to go max. And because they thought, he could get young people to vote for Trump, they thought he could whip everyone into shape to just go for, they'll say Israel, but really it's the intelligence community's projects. And I don't like that people have been confusing and conflating these things. And Charlie knew this. And he started to refuse.
The Central Intelligence Agency is actively involved in mind manipulation of people here domestically. And that is completely against the CIA charter. You must understand, we have Congress, and they're just kind of like a peanut gallery. And then we have a super government that exists above Congress, of the Department of Defense, which is the Pentagon, the Central Intelligence Agency, which is its own thing out in Langley, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They run the country. The intel agencies run the country.
They were calling Charlie an anti-Semite, sending veiled threats to him. People wanted his organization to suffer. They started taking money from his organization. It was reported Robert Shillman pulled $2 million from him. This was due to Tucker Carlson taking the stage at the SAS, the Student Action Summit. And this seemed to be a coordinated effort because there were many donors attacking this issue. Bill Ackman, a longtime left-wing political donor who made a bunch of magical money during the COVID crisis. He pretends he's some kind of ninja trader. He's not ninja trading right now, but man, he made that big money during COVID. Bill Ackman has an intervention in the Hamptons where he gets in Charlie's face about having Tucker Carlson and platforming people like this in the direction Charlie was moving in. When Max Blumenthal wrote his Gray Zone piece about this, he had no less than 5 sources. Obviously, those sources saw things they didn't like and described it. Bill Ackman wrote these War and Peace-sized tweets defending it. Other influencers who were there defended it. And then foolishly, one of them published this. Now, this is Special Agent Erin Wexler of the Mossad. No, I'm just kidding. Her name's Erin Wexler. She's some kind of influencer, part-time stand-up comedian. She shares this 6 days after Charlie is gone and says how she shared an old Jewish saying with Charlie. And this took place last month at a group breakfast, which that's the Hamptons event. Now, this is not a Jewish saying. This is from Jean-Paul Sartre, the Marxist poet. And it says, the anti-Semite, meaning Charlie, does not accuse the Jew of stealing because he thinks he stole something. He does it because he enjoys watching the Jew turn out his pockets to prove his innocence. Dun dun dun! A donor who is fast becoming notorious is Lori Cardozo Moore, and she said the most unhinged things about Charlie and sent him unbelievable messages.
They saw Tucker Carlson get up and act like another crazy person, talking, condemning Israel, praising Qatar with his mocking voice and his mocking laughter. Then Charlie Kirk. This is his event. He's responsible for what people are saying and doing. Does he get up and condemn Tucker or correct Tucker for what he said about Israel and how dangerous Qatar is to us? No. Did Charlie get up and defend Michelle Bachmann? Did he condemn the people that got up and walked out on her, that booed her? Did he say why we stand with Israel, we support Israel? No, he didn't.
Trash!
That tells us everything we need to know. Watching the Will Cain show on Friday, and Will Cain was interviewing Charlie Kirk with Turning Point USA. But Charlie Kirk had the audacity to say, no, we shouldn't get involved. I've read my Bible, and I know I better be, because in Genesis 12:3, God told Abram, I will bless those who bless you and curse him who curses you. And he who ignores you, Israel, I will utterly destroy. He told the prophet Obadiah.
I'm pretty sure it's not Obadiah. I'm almost 100% sure it's Obadiah.
That in the last days, I think we can all agree we're living in the last days. In the last days, he will wipe out the descendants of Edom because they stood by Charlie Kirk while their brothers were held in captivity, Israel, and they did nothing. Who agrees with that philosophy? That's Bannon. That's Tucker Carlson. And that's Candace Owens. And now it's Charlie Kirk. We are seeing the 1930s return again in the United States of America. And we have to speak out against these people that are pushing this isolationist viewpoint, this anti-Israel, it's anti-Semitic position. Tucker Carlson.
Dance, peasants, dance!
Candace Owens, look at the things that they are saying.
I love you, baby, I love you, you're so perfect, I love you more, I love you, my sprinkle poop hair, baby, boop boobs, I love you, it's a piece of baby, is wonderful, I love you.
There's even people who have started to raise concern about Charlie Kirk. He's made some isolationist comments about, supporting Israel as well.
The intel agencies run the country.
We have to be very careful. We cannot tolerate, as American citizens, even within the Republican, the Conservative Party, we can't tolerate these people.
I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat.
It is my opinion that this is most likely that text. It's from Lori Cardozo Moore, the woman you just watched. And this is what she said to Charlie. All the people that trusted you, Jews and Christians, including me, why would you platform anti-Semites like Candace and Tucker? There are many evangelical Christian Zionists who would never give these people the opportunity to spew their hatred. I'm one of them. You say people are accusing you of being an anti-Semite because you disagree with the Israeli government? Well, what is it exactly you disagree with? Then she reveals herself and projects. She says, you threatened Jews and Christians with your 30 million followers. Are you kidding? Be very careful, Charlie. You are in violation of the 9th commandment by bearing false witness against your brother Judah. That's nonsense. And it's ridiculous that Charlie had to deal with this stuff and these kind of people. And she would then rabble-rouse, reach out to her network of people. They'd get each other all upset, and they'd mass text and mass email him and probably other people. And it's unfortunate. We don't need freaks like this. I'm sorry. If she wants to donate her money, cool. But she's philosophically worthless. She's like a holy roller Karen. So look, without money, this lady would be nothing. And it's sad that politicians take her calls like she's some kind of philosophical genius. She can't even say Obadiah. She goes on and on about, Bible verses and how if you curse Israel, you'll be cursed. Your TPUSA Tampa event was a disaster. Michelle Bachmann was booed. There was a couple jeers, but it wasn't like a big booing. I'm sure it's not the reception Michelle Bachmann wanted, but they were shilling so hard for this stuff. It was insane. Young people they're just not fooled. And it's not about Israel, the country, or the Israeli people, or Jewish people. They know the intelligence services are involved in a lot of garbage like Epstein and stuff like this, and they don't want to hear it. The adults in the room, the older people, refuse to acknowledge the existence of intelligence communities ruling over us. Sorry, the kids just aren't that stupid. And there's a lot of threats and veiled threats in this text. I mean, other than her saying, be very careful, Charlie. She throws in his face, you brag about how you convinced all these young voters to vote for Trump, but you can't convince them to stand for our Jewish brethren. This is not a joke, Charlie. He talked about how he's accomplished much by the hand of the Almighty, but he is going to lift his hand from you. She tells him it's to his peril. It will be to your peril, as well as the unfinished work God was going to do through you. So she's saying he's going to die. What do you do with someone like that? Well, seems like Charlie Kirk was content to let her go and let her donate somewhere else. But the people that remained after Charlie, they wanted all that money. They don't care that this woman treated Charlie like this.
And the thing about Epstein is just so bizarre. I don't know who he was an agent for. It might have been Israel or an asset, or it might have been nobody. Yeah. But we're allowed to speculate about that. It's there's some rule. You can't go there when it comes to Israel.
When Megyn Kelly passionately says, we're allowed to speculate about that, meaning Jeffrey Epstein, and her voice cracks, Charlie corrects her and says, yeah, but are we? Watch again. This kid knew what was going on.
But we're allowed to speculate about that. It's there's some rule. You can't go there when it comes to Israel.
Charlie Kirk was steadfast on full transparency about the Epstein story because Charlie Kirk understood the intelligence agencies ran the world. This is one of the things the leadership hated about Charlie Kirk. He liked to tell the truth. And it is one of the great shames of right-wing media that they are too cowardly to confront Jeffrey Epstein. I was working on the 4th installment of my Epstein series for my 10 listeners when Charlie Kirk was shot. I released a 3rd part the day before, September 9th. And I cannot believe the weakness of so-called podcasters who hide from that issue.
I think all these things should be explored. It's one of the many things that should be explored around Epstein. But saying that, and also saying he might be a U.S. asset, etc., doesn't make you anti-Semitic. That's fucking crazy. And then we get to last week, I go on Piers Morgan.
So this is so important, Megan. And again, I don't want, you cannot say everyone in the pro-Israel, and I don't say it, acts that way. But I got text about you, Megan, saying, why is Megan doing the bidding of Hamas? I was like, what are you talking about? Megan's the best. What? She's amazing. And I said, why are you texting me about Megan?
That donor complaining to Charlie about Megyn Kelly is an awful foreshadowing of where we are now, where everyone says Megyn Kelly is anti-Semitic and all this ridiculous stuff. It's been insane, and these two are very prescient, talking about the way this issue has been weaponized by the intelligence community, disguising themselves as, Jewish organizations and the government of Israel. And let me explain to you how people like Lori Cardozo-Moore play into this. I'm going to use this article from the Tennessean, and yes, this is how it's done in a lot of places, folks. Everyone's touched a piece of this money that works in politics. Sometimes some people are just more obvious than others or more egregious. And this article gets it pretty close. I checked the 990 from 2019, and this section of this article checks out. So in 2019, Cardozo-Moore takes in $1.3 million into her charity, Proclaiming Justice to the Nations. and her salary is $145,000. So just that. If Charlie switches direction and has too much Tucker, she loses, a lot of her $145,000 a year right there, because people are going to be displeased with her because she couldn't get it done to shut Tucker up, remove him from the stage, or shut Charlie up.
Be quiet!
But there's a lot more pressure on her than you think, because she gets a lot more than $145,000 from her nonprofit. She paid $85,000 to her husband's production company for something, and thousands more to other family members. So the Cardozo-Moore family brought in $365,000 in 2019. They thank you for the donations.
Because everyone's getting rich.
So it's not about protecting Israel and all this garbage she spews. It's about she wants her almost $500,000 a year, and Charlie helps her get it. And that's what most of the donors are complaining about. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're making money. And Charlie got tired of it. A couple days before he died, Charlie Kirk revealed in a group chat that Robert Shulman pulled the $2 million. Charlie insisted he wouldn't be bullied and he would leave the pro-Israel cause. He also threw out there he was thinking of inviting Candace, which I would love to see that. That would have been hilarious. Charlie Kirk would have let many donors go and gone back to the grassroots style TPUSA was known for. This is where his mind was, and why he thought of inviting Candace, because he's remembering those old days before the big money came in. The evidence of this thinking is right here. On September 2nd, 2025, 8 days before he was assassinated, Charlie Kirk released a memo. He elevated Justin Strafe as the new COO. This in turn demoted Tyler Boyer as the former COO. And then he wanted organizational-wide DOGE effort. A couple of things he wanted was he wanted the company to become more efficient, more cost-effective, and he was going to reshape the company culture. I expect many positive changes to come from this forthcoming initiative and Justin's expanded role. This DOGE effort, this team has never been assembled, and these wishes were never carried out. And TPUSA was able to save their donors. If you like what you heard here, please like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.